The word "jumpy" carries a negative connotation, and I used to hate this word myself. However, and this might be a surprise, I attribute half of my fluency and language success to the fact that I was pretending my English was good enough when it really wasn't. And the only difference between me and the obnoxious guy next door was that I did it all the time, and I did it more strategically and logically, and I did it for myself, not to show other people. So if you're interested in how jumpy can actually improve your English, stay tuned. Hi guys, my name is Ella and welcome back to my channel. First, I'd like to give the word "jumpy" a new definition because it really doesn't sound good. Jumpy for me means you're setting a higher standard for yourself and you're believing in that vision of yourself before you have any actual proof to show it. So really, it's about setting higher standards and about nudging yourself out of your comfort zone inch by inch so that you won't be intimidated to learn anything new. As you can see, the key word here is standard. Many people set goals, and that's massively different. Goals are about destination. Goals are about results. Goals are one-time events. Goals have this either-or mentality. Either you're fluent or you're not. So might as well not try in between. Goals sound like this. Oh, I should do that. Or wouldn't it be nice if I do that? Standards are something completely different. It requires you to act out of character. It requires you to establish a new identity as a native speaker. Yes, you heard me correctly. It is not enough to identify yourself as someone who can speak to a native speaker. You are a native speaker because you read what native speakers read, you watch what native speakers watch, and that's how you communicate with them, and that's how you become an equal to them. I mean, of course, they treat you with respect regardless, but if you want to become friends with them, you have to understand things on their level. You see, the difference between goals and standards is that you're only successful when you reach that goal. However, in the realm of standards, you're already successful if you show up every day, if you do your routine every day, if you study every day, if you're inching yourself towards that. There's another crucial part of jumpy, and that's showing off, or at least showing. And I don't mean showing results. I mean showing progress, showing your determination, showing your dedication, especially in the beginning, when you don't have that much of a visual reward, when you don't have that immediate results. It's very important that you give yourself the reward of being seen in public. Go study in a cafe or go study in a group. Go to a bookstore with a friend. Take a book with you whenever you travel. Reading an English book and being in an airport just seem like the perfect combination because you're traveling both physically and figuratively. Jumpy is also about connecting learning English with something you already like. You see, when I started, I hated reading, but the only reason I got into reading was because, first of all, I actually like the books I like to read, and I've read them, some of them, in Chinese before, so I like to find out is there something I missed in translation? I was able to learn a lot of lessons from those books, not just in English. So learning English kind of came as a byproduct. As a girl, I like to take notes. I like to highlight things. So reading gives me the perfect legitimate reason to go like this all the time and compile notes and notebooks and have something to show. That's what I like to do. And that kind of ties in with the principle of pretending because you're not actually learning English. You're just using learning English as an excuse to do your favorite activity. Pretending helps your speaking too. Before I had any native speakers to talk to, I would talk to myself. I would sing to myself, I would talk to myself, I would write things in English, even if people don't understand it. I sometimes don't understand it. Frankly, it just don't make sense half the time. But it is these opportunities where I feel like I could actually speak the language that motivated me to do more, to understand the language more. And with writing English diaries, it wasn't so much that I was trying to pretend that I could write in English. It was because afraid that if I write in Chinese that my mom was gonna read it or my classmates were gonna read it, so it felt safe. It also gave me a different identity. Something happens when you think and speak in a different language, and it certainly happens when you write in a different language. However, jumpy doesn't count without caveats. Number one, pretending isn't performing. You're not pretending for anyone to see. You're pretending for yourself. You're creating this atmosphere. You're creating this new identity, creating this new standard for yourself that even if no one cares about what you're reading, even if nobody will tell you, oh, you're really good at English, it's something that you have to give yourself. It's a reward, it's an acknowledgement, it's a validation. And the second caveat is pretending isn't really pretending. I mean, you can pretend your way up to fluency. At some point, you gotta have to match your vision with your action. It's gonna mismatch for a long time. That's completely okay. But you can't stay there. You have to move at least 1 inch at a time. So in summary, pretending or 装逼 doesn't really mean that you're not putting in the action. It doesn't really mean that you're performing or you're showing off for other people to see. It just means that you're believing in a vision that you don't see right now. You have faith in your English, in yourself. That will be important when things get hard. That will be important when you lose all the reasons to study, when you lose all the motivation to study. And if it's any reassurance, I don't have to pretend anymore. It's become who I am. I read on a daily basis. I watch American television and YouTube videos without subtitles. It all happened without me trying to force it. It all happened without me actually catching it. That's the magic of creating higher standards for yourself, because you're always reaching for that higher goal. You're always reaching for that identity. You're always realizing that higher ideal. So although the process might seem tedious, at least to other people, you actually start to enjoy it. You actually never suffer. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, leave me a like, leave me any comment. If you have any questions, do so in the comment section. Bye!